Greetings, everyone. So, I first just want to tell you I'm going to put this on my other channel, I Remember, and I'm going to be working more on videos on that channel. I may change the name of the channel in the future, but as of now, I'm going to keep it that name. So, what I want to talk about today is it's more covert narcissism. Anyone could utilize this devalue, but in my situation, it was a more covert narcissist. So, devalue disguised as concern. And always remember, no matter how together your life is, no matter how much good you're doing, you could be thriving in your career, you could have lost 100 pounds and you're very proud of yourself, you improved your health, you could have given birth to a brand new baby and your baby's doing so well, and you're staying at home with the kids. It doesn't matter what your reality is. The narcissist is going to find the one perceived weakness, or they're going to create a perceived weakness and always get their little dig in. And many, many times it's going to be disguised as concern. Always beware when someone says, "I'm concerned," or "we're concerned." That's usually a sign to leave, get out. Some people stay. I don't think it's a good idea. But as we all know, narcissists are the most insecure people on the planet. And so, in order to stop their shame or their insecurities from coming through, and for them to prop up their false narrative to the world, they have to negate, minimize, diminish, and devalue you. And that's what is called the devalue period, or I'm sure there's a lot of names for it, and the people that are extremely finessed and good and talented at the devalue manipulation, you will kind of believe what they're saying. Or if you don't immediately believe what they're saying, because I'm the biggest skeptic nowadays, but you might be inclined to believe it, if that makes sense. Your whole life can be successful in so many areas. They're going to hone in on part of your life or something that's going on with you and focus on that. to make you feel inadequate, bad about yourself, or not up to par, not making the grade, whatever it is. I had interactions with a person who started making comments about me not having a vehicle. I didn't pay too much attention to it. The majority of my life I've had a vehicle. And when I was younger, I lived without a vehicle for many years. It is what it is, you know. But it was, now looking back, I feel like it was meant to make me feel less than, to make me feel that I'm not adding up. Mind you, I'm going through breast cancer treatment. They're so plagued with insecurities and feeling lesser than themselves. They have to make you feel lesser than in order to prop themselves up. I'll tell you one thing, what I've learned, if you're around a person who's, number one, watch out for the syrupy voice. You guys ever heard it? Oh, you know, we're just concerned. Oh, the syrupy voice, man. And it's over the top. They're always so concerned about you. I remember having a realization with one person I was having an interaction with. You know, it's like your spidey sense goes off and you're like, this doesn't feel right. I'm thinking to myself, the fuck are you concerned about? I've been on my own my entire life and I've always landed on my feet. I'm doing fine. But they'll keep pounding about it. Never asking, like, for example, never asking you how your treatment's going, what the doctors are saying, or whatever it is. But yet they want to talk about you not having a car, or I decide, to make a long story short, I was considering getting a television in my bedroom because, and I was always opposed to that. I think the bedroom should be for two different things. But the reason that I was thinking about getting a television in my bedroom was I'd been feeling really not well and I'd rest a lot. And then it hit me when this person, because I said to her, I'm thinking about getting a television in my room. And then she said something like, I forget exactly what words, but you don't want to do that because then you'll be even more isolated, or something to that effect. And when she said this, like right there, I knew, number one, no empathy. And I also knew she had no understanding or concern about really what I was truly going through. Yeah, if that makes sense to you guys. More concerned about it could have been, okay, like in a healthy friendship or a healthy relationship, it could have been deemed as concern. I don't think it was. Because I was getting out as much as I could and out quite a lot. but I did have to rest. I feel like narcissists or people that are inclined toward being narcissistic, they're always concerned about things other people wouldn't be concerned about. And that if your intuition is still sharp, I mean, unless you've been around these folks a lot, like let's say you have to be immersed with them at a job place, or you're married to one, or your mother that you're talking with every day, your intuition can get completely pummeled and screwed up. Because they will exhaust you, they will confuse you, they will destroy your sense of self, little by little by little. But when this person was saying that, I could feel that they weren't really caring about me or concerned. And I decided right there, I'm like, I'm not even going to explain why. Because I knew they didn't care. So what's the other thing? Devalue disguised as concern. It's like we all know about narcissists and their little digs that they have to get. Of course, you have the backhanded compliment. When I look back, I feel like there was that cycle of, I think it's called I forget. You got the idealization, and then I think it's the devalue and then the discard. I believe that's how it goes. There's the three, and then different people that are narcissistic or full-blown narcissists, they sometimes skip the flow of it, but it's always with the digs, you see. So I even had a job like that. When I look back, I believe the job that I was in was 100% a narcissistic, PTE, permission to exist, stated was a narcissistic haven. And a lot of people have talked about that, the narcissistic havens at the workplace. But it's always, you're not adding up. We're worried about you. I remember one real nasty woman that I had to deal with at a job place. I think she was partly responsible for my fire. And it all worked out in the end, but she would always tell me how bad my writing was. And I couldn't tell them, but I had done professional writing. And I'm not the best writer in the world, but as far as grammar and things like that and knowing how to write a letter, I and it was just kind of comical to me. They don't like that, do they? But it's always like these weird statements they'll give you. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Or one other general, I think this is more like a general devalue, honestly, is that they're always like the statements that you make, they have to argue and question what you're saying. Well, I don't know if that's true. Or no, I don't think that would work. It's always like these negative comments about it. Like I remember I was having an interaction with this person, and I was not happy with a lot of the things, these agendas going on throughout the world. And I was like, well, I'll just go up there. I'll let them know what's up. I mean, in many ways, like, I really don't care. Like, what I mean is, like, when you have to stand up for things, sometimes you got to take a stand. And I've never been in trouble my whole life, literally. Nothing really major. And she was really, oh, no, no, that's not going to work, and this is how it goes. And now I realize that always questioning the way you see things, or trying to make what you're doing dumb or pointless. Yeah, that's a word I'd like to use, because that a lot of the things that I would say, this person would make it like what I was saying was pointless. It's not going to work, and they know better. You know, they always know better, right? Meanwhile, their whole lives are a complete mess, but they always know better. So yeah, anyways, that particular person, when I look back, there was the cycle of idealization and then the devalue. But gratefully, all the work that I've done, it did not affect me at all. It did not affect me at all. And I wound up cutting that person off 100% based on something she said. It was pretty heinous, and that was the complete devalue. But it didn't work on me, gratefully. But yeah, people that are really good at it, and they'll talk like this, you know, it's only because we care about you. We know you do drugs. I'm just making up a story. We know that you're doing drugs. You can tell us. You know, weird talk like that when you've never done a drug in your life. You know, stuff like that. They throw the gaslighting in there too. Like, because gaslighting, they'll say these really weird statements that make no sense. The word salad, the gaslighting, and it's to confuse you, to throw you off. Then when they throw you off, actually, I was reading somewhere that, or a YouTube video I watched, that in really serious mind control, they do these things as well. So once you're confused, then they can insert this new, like a new mind control program into you. And the narcissist will do the same thing because they want you to believe what they're telling you. So we all know the biggest devalue, or the biggest way to negate or minimize a person's story or who they are as a human being, is to throw them, and not to get too much into the MK Ultra and all that, but is to call someone mentally unstable. And it's always people that have they have no education in it, no anything. And a lot of times very narcissistic families will do this to one of the family members, like probably the black sheep, or, you know, whomever they want to pick on for the day. And they will constantly tell them that they're mentally unstable, that they don't know what they're talking about, that they're hallucinating or whatever. And they'll tell the person this so much that the person will start to believe it. And that's the point. How many children that were SA'd have had that done to them? So, yeah, it's always disguised as concern. We're so concerned. Always be wary of someone saying that you, like, they're not your mama, they're not your daddy. And you better know, like, if your mama or daddy's a narcissist, you know what I mean? Like, It's always over the top. It's weird. It's creepy. Creepy as F. I'm just scouting in my mind other examples. And you'll always know that it's not legitimate because if you don't go with their plan, then they start to get really mad. And that's because it's all about controlling you. In fact, anyone that you see that's always arguing with everyone around them, that is a serious red flag. That's not necessarily exactly the devalue disguised as concern. But if someone around you, whether it's a friend, a family member, a teacher, a coworker, whomever it is, they're always pissed off about everything and everybody, that is something to watch. I don't think every single person doing that is a narcissist. Some of them are just toxic, but watch carefully if it has to do about them controlling the situation or the other person or people, then that's more narcissistic. Yeah, I'm trying to think how lack of empathy plays into this one. Well, lack of empathy would be just automatic inside of this devalue disguised as concern because ultimately they really truly don't have real empathy. But the more vulnerable or covert narcissists are masters, absolute masters at pretending they are concerned. I think one of the best and biggest tip-offs of the devalue disguised as concern will be if your intuition hasn't been completely annihilated by these energy vampires. Something inside of you is going to tell you something's off. You're going to get the gut feeling or your intuitive abilities, everything's telling you, your senses are telling you something's not right. Listen to that. Because they'll say something and it just won't add up. Just like with me, with mentioning about I'm going to buy another television. Like a good friend who cares about your welfare, knows you're going through cancer treatment, would be like, well, that's a good idea. So when you're resting, you can watch a program. Yeah, something just won't feel right. So that's all I can think of right now with that. But I hope that this is helpful. I'm going to put this in my I Remember Everything channel. And I'll probably share it on Ice to See 33. Have an amazing day. Peace.